I'm gonna cut the head off the snake. I'm gonna come and deal with the problem where it exists.
There's no snake here. Why do you think so many people try to come to the United States every year?
Because you bomb the fucking shit out of them.
We're not bombing anybody.
You are in 7 wars in the Middle East.
We're not bombing anybody.
You're in 7 wars. You're almost 20 years in Afghanistan.
Are we there now?
Yeah.
We're pulling out.
Yeah, but
who's doing that? Wait.
So,
Let's go back. Who's doing that?
Donald Trump is trying to pull out.
pulling our military out. He does nothing good.
So I'll give you 2 things Donald Trump has done. In 4 years of being a president, I'll give you 2 good things. He started relations with North Korea. You don't make peace with your friends, you make peace with your enemies.
Yes.
And he's attempting to withdraw troops out of Afghanistan. Those are basically the only 2 good things he's done. And I'll give him credit for that.
So why has he been?
But he's not achieved
Why
anything.
hasn't he been nominated for 5 Nobel Peace Prizes? What about the peace deals in the Middle East?
Because he's ramped up the drone strikes in the Middle East.
What about the peace deals in the Middle East with Israel?
What do you mean? What do you mean the peace deal in the Middle East with Israel? Israel's an ally of the US.
Yeah, but he's negotiating all of the other countries to enter into peace deals with Israel.
Probably because everybody fucking hates Israel. Because they bomb other Middle Eastern countries.
So you don't like Israel either?
No, fuck Israel.
Okay.
Israel literally commits genocide on a daily basis.
So
with
what about
the
all the people
Palestine
that?
people.
What about all the people, the Palestine people that, or when they bomb and when they blindly send missiles into Israel and they kill innocent women and children?
Who do you think's faced greater violence, Israel or Palestine?
Israel's the Israeli people have been persecuted for 5,000 years.
That's, yeah, I mean, that doesn't really I don't really understand.
You can't fight that.
And because
you
that,
you just asked me who do you think's been persecuted?
I don't know the history of Israel and its basically ancient history, right? That what I do know is when there are medics in a field in Palestinian areas, Israeli snipers shoot medics and they shoot press. And they shoot children. That's a real fucking thing that happens.
Okay. They're not shooting children.
They are.
No, they're not.
Let me give you just, I really need a piss. Let me give you a final explanation on Adam Smith, this free market, invisible hand, this guy who invented capitalism. He was a socialist by today's standards. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why. He believed in the in taxation and strict limitation of several areas of the economy. He didn't like landlords, he didn't like bankers, and he wanted nationalization of resources and utilities. He believed that you should tax landlords and bankers to the point where they're no longer incentivized to do that job. And the economy and the capitalist system we have right now is based on landlords, rent extraction, financial debt and low lending. All of our resources are privatized and exploited and monopolized, and all of our utilities are exploited. We live in a rent extraction economy where no matter how fucking much you make, you will immediately be homeless, lose your car, lose your health insurance, lose everything if you quit your job. And the exact economics...
But you're not providing, so why is that not okay? But okay, so if you hate a capitalist society so much, then why do you provide services for money? That's capitalist.
Because
you're making money.
It's the beautiful system where if you don't work in capitalism, you starve to death.
But
you don't have a choice.
You're part of it.
And this is my way of protesting against it.
Yeah, so that's what I don't get. I see all these people that are against capitalism in government, everywhere else. But yet, every chance they get, they make money on other people.
They make money on other people. I mean,
that's capitalism, isn't it?
So trade.
The government's not providing for you, so that's capitalism.
Government providing isn't necessarily the definition of communism, I guess. But
no, it's socialism.
Yeah.
They give you your housing. They give you your medical. They give you food stamps. They give you all that stuff. That's socialism. Right, the government takes care of you in socialism.
No, they give you a safety net. Trade existed under every economic system in history. The idea that people trade isn't new and isn't unique to capitalism.
No, it's not.
But in this system, you have no choice. You either go to work and you earn money, or you starve to death.
Yeah, but you can't hate what you're part of.
Yes, you can.
Well, then
you can change it from within.
Then you can get away from it. Then Go find and establish a community that everybody provides the same, that everybody provides to the community, but you don't make any money, and all you get back is food, healthcare. You know, everybody gets the same thing.
Yeah,
Go start a community like that then.
And then, well, these people started a community, and
That's not
not that
thing.
way. Different community.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you cops will show up and you'll still just crack people's skulls.
I haven't cracked anybody's skull. So that's another fallacy. We don't show up. I actually try to help people all the time, okay? And you guys think that we just show up and hurt people, and I hate everybody that I come in contact with. No, I don't. I don't even hate you. This is a great conversation, okay? And that's what it should be. It shouldn't be the stuff that's at the fence where we're yelling at one another. Come up with some solutions. Let's talk.
I have one, and I'll rip Jeff Bezos' head off myself.
Well, see, but that's violence.
That's okay. It's a solution. Nobody says violence is an option. You wouldn't have that option. You wouldn't carry a gun on your hip if violence wasn't an option.
This is, and the only time I use this is when somebody else makes me use it. I've never used this in 14 years in my career, and most cops never use their firearm, okay? And I've been shot at before plenty, and I've never shot back because I wasn't 100% sure of my target, okay? If I can't see what's shooting at me or what's trying to harm me, I'm not going to shoot indiscriminately towards anybody else.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for 14 years. I've never shot anybody. I've never been drugged into court for excessive use of force. None of that stuff. It's all of this stuff that you see on television. It's all sensationalized. It's one particular case, you know. And there's 50 million contacts. I don't know. There's 50 million contacts a year. So this statistically, the number of uses of force that get held up, that get upheld every year, it's 0.0039%. That's the actual number of uses of force where cops are found wrongdoing.
Yeah, that's because a majority of them are not investigated. They're not.
Every one of them's investigated. Never see. That's where I don't understand. I've been doing this for 14 years. I've worked at 2 different agencies. Everything I do gets scrutinized. Everything.
There are dozens of cases where good cops, I'm going to put that in air quotes because there's no such thing in a racist system, but good
What's
cops.
racist about our system?
The majority of people in prison are black and Hispanic.
Okay, so let's go back to statistics. Okay, 13% of the population is black, right?
Yeah. 7%
of them is black males. Black males statistically commit 52% of the violent crimes in this country.
No. They
They
don't commit that crime. That's the amount that are prosecuted. You don't prosecute white people's crimes. I can tell you, I have hundreds of friends that have done drugs in their lives, and they've never faced a fucking drug charge.
Have they been contacted by the police when they have their drugs on them?
Because they're white. They live in neighborhoods.
It has nothing to do with color.
Targeted.
You're sadly mistaken.
You police the neighborhoods and you charge people in those areas that are poor and they are minorities.
You're 100% wrong. Okay, so who usually calls the police?
You don't go into Cherry Creek.
Who calls the police?
Nobody does. You guys usually.
The poor communities call police. That's what you don't understand. They call us for help. That's why we're in the poor communities. The people, you have to understand the way society works, and you're not grasping that. Poor communities call the police at a much higher rate than wealthy communities. It's just that's a statistical fact. So by abolishing the police, you're actually hurting the poor communities.
No.
Yes, you
because
are.
The point of abolition is to provide resources and services to people. It's not
we do provide.
It's not lawlessness. Nobody wants to abolish police and prisons. Talks about lawlessness. They talk about
so who's going to make people toe the line if
the community, strong supportive community.
It doesn't work. It does not work. Here, let me give you a prime example of something so simple and insignificant. Okay, go down to the 16th Street Mall. There's signs posted on every block when you can ride your bicycle and when you can skateboard, and that you're not allowed to smoke on the mall. Okay, go down there and see how many people are actually violating every one of those rules. Because nobody is enforcing them right now.
Yeah.
So if they're not going to follow something as insignificant as that, What makes you think that society is going to police them on stuff that's more severe?
Because smoking somewhere is not the equivalent of killing people.
But it's a law. That's what I mean. So we have all these laws on the books, and if people aren't there, if we're not there to enforce the little things, then people start stepping it up to bigger and bigger and bigger things. It's a statistical fact throughout history.
That's insane.
No,
yeah.
it's not. Why do you think the broken window theory worked in New York City? It took because they started enforcing all the little stuff. It took the homicide rate in New York City from 2,500 people a year
harassment and intimidation work.
So it saved 2,000 lives a year.
Harassment
is that not okay? So society was policing itself, and people were getting murdered at a much higher rate, 5 times the rate.
Harassment and intimidation works to reduce crime. You can harass a minority population and get them to reduce their crime rate.
It's not harassment if you're actually enforcing the law.
It is if you're walking down the street and you think a cop is going to give you a fucking ticket because you're on your bike. Yeah.
Why do you think people think that? I never thought that growing up. Not once. Not once in my lifetime did I ever think that. And I grew up in a poor neighborhood. And I never thought the cops were going to